Good night. I want to go to bed. But we're not going to bed. It's a deadline stream at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yay! Good night, everyone. Good evening. I assume most of you who are here are not European. If you are European and you're here, please show yourself in chat. I am live on Twitch as well. So I'm viewing Twitch chat, even though Twitch chat is not on screen. Welcome. Quali at 2 p.m. for me. Love being an Aussie. I mean, listen, I cannot complain because over the course of the season, as a European, I definitely have the easier time being an F1 fan. But I can complain a little bit. Big Papa Bob with the Prime sub on Twitch. Thank you so much. 3-month streak. 1 p.m. in Australia. Perfect time. It's Aussies and Americans here only. Greetings from Romania. Oh, God. You're also up early. Slightly. I want to say slightly better for you, though. What is it there? 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. there? That's slightly better. It's not 3 a.m. Why is the race time so early? I thought US would be later because it's an evening race in Vegas, like the night before, right? So it's quali on a Friday, race on a Saturday. Tyrrell Norwegian, yeah, you're in the same boat as me. Ay. How are we going to survive, guys? 7 p.m. in USA? I know. My heart is telling me to switch Max for Norris and Hadjar for Colapinto. My team would be Max, Russell, Hadjar, Sainz, and Gasly. Listen, I had not foreseen that McLaren would be P19 and P20 in FP3, okay? 7:30 a.m. in India, not too bad. Yeah, you could live with 7:30. Listen, okay, before we actually get into all of this stuff, right? I'm gonna lower the music slightly. Before we get into all of this stuff, my day today is absolutely scuffed. You guys know that over the course of the season, if you've been in the stream a lot, that I usually like get home just for the stream because I often work on Saturday mornings. And that's no different today, by the way. So I'm streaming from 3 a.m. to, you know, whatever, 6 a.m. when the qualifying is done. And then immediately I'm leaving for work. But because I don't have the deadline stream to go home to, I don't have an excuse to, you know, get off of work early. Usually I get to, you know, get home from work a bit earlier to go to the deadline stream. Thank you so much to my boss for that. But because I don't have that today, I feel like I kind of have to stay because the next 2 weekends I'm gonna have to leave early because it's a usual deadline time. Which means that for this week, or not for this week, for today, I literally have work from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah. So here we go. US viewer here, finding a reasonable stream time. Glad to make it one of these finally. Welcome, Dakota. Welcome. Yeah, so the UK can watch not on a Monday morning. Exactly. That is why it's the time like this. Your excuse is sleep, lol. 11 hours is crazy. It's just one of those days. I work in like catering stuff, and the Christmas bookings have come in, like started to come in now. So it's kind of crazy. All right. So, I have not watched Q3 or the Q3 FP3. Because I was asleep, right? I needed some sleep. I've looked at the results. Please, if you're in chat, if you watched FP3, please let me know what happened to McLaren. Like, why are McLaren P19 and P20? Are they actually just bad, or are we like what world are we living in here? Telemetry issues. They don't want to risk it. Norris had the pace. They didn't really set a lap. Okay, cool. Track was wild. I can imagine. McLaren lost telemetry. All right. Yeah, but I mean, Vegas has been Vegas, right? Norris was purple when they called him in. Okay. See, this is good. This is good. They were sandbagging. This is great information. Thank you so much, Sparknuts. Usually I have time to watch FP3, but obviously I had to sleep now. McLaren looked very good. Okay. Something actually wrong with Norris? Just didn't get a good run time. Damp track for 3/4 out of practice. Yeah, how's the weather looking? Like, is it gonna start raining again? Weather, Las Vegas. Not really. It's looking fine. I can't see that it would rain further. Maybe I'm wrong though. I thought Vegas was in the desert. Yeah, I mean the flooding from earlier in the week is kind of crazy. Imagine if that was during the weekend. It would actually just straight up get cancelled. It will likely be interest Q1, they said. It's raining now, I think. That is unfortunate for us. I mean, listen, this week, it's not really a... what's it called? A chip weekend anyway. So, if it's raining, it's like raining. It's whatever. Right, so, what I was thinking, I'll just briefly show you guys. If you watch my final thoughts video that I posted, what, like 12 hours ago now? My thought is this. What I also could do, I could just straight up keep Sainz and not buy Ocon. And use a transfer on Norris if McLaren are bad, and get Verstappen in. I'm not doing anything on the constructor side. Even if McLaren are bad, I'm not selling McLaren. It's too much fiddling to get them back in. I could do this. I could also use 3 transfers. Could I? Let me think. No, I cannot. I can't do this with 3 transfers because then I will have to take a -10 to do this, and this out. So, if I want Verstappen in on my 2X, I can do so, but then I'm not getting Ocon. Calandori! Didn't think you were going to be up late. Glad you are. Doesn't feel like an F1 without you. Thank you so much. You're also European, right? What are you doing up? I didn't expect to see you here. Telemetry only on Piastri. Interesting. Isle of Man, yeah. What do you think of autopilot this week? I think autopilots can work literally every week. People need to start using their autopilots, and why not this week? If you have Russell, I think it's a perfect time to use autopilot, right? Russell could definitely pop up with a surprise win, and if McLaren set a bad lap, they could get a bunch of overtakes in the race. I think autopilot is perfect for this week if you have it. Sainz or Hadjar. Literally anyone. I think all of these drivers at that price point are just interchangeable. I think Oliver Bearman, because of his budget and because of how well he's performing right now, how good he is at overtaking, I think is a league above the rest. I mean, that's also shown in his price point. But I think from like Lance Stroll to Isaac Hadjar, I think there's literally nothing between these drivers, and you kind of just have to lucky guess get it right. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I think that's the accurate assessment of those drivers. I can't let my rival get an edge. Nope. Thoughts about triple Merc lineup with Ferrari, Leclerc, oh my god, Colapinto and Sainz and Russell with 2X. That's a crazy lineup. I mean, if it works, and you're gonna absolutely steamroll up the ranking list because no one's gonna have that team, right? I think it's crazy that, like, what, 25% of the top 500 have Antonelli, but Antonelli has performed really well, and I think Antonelli could perform well this week as well. Hey, who's here in the middle of the night thinking of fantasy F1? Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're European, an extra bit of thanks for joining me today. But I enjoy being here with my Aussie, Asian, and American, both North and South buddies as well. Cheers to all of Europe, yep. The one time it's easy, we have it so bad, guys. One time out of 24, we have an awful time for the race. The UK has it bad. 2 a.m. is rough. What up, big dog? I'm trying to sort of shake myself awake. That's what I'm doing. I have slept for 4 hours, so I'm ready and raring to go. Is Norris a must-have in Qatar? No. I think he's good in Qatar. Good day, Ray. Verstappen and Russell looks like the play. I'm at 133 million. It doesn't look like I can get triple McLaren for Qatar. What's the next best 3x target for next race? I mean, it's probably Verstappen Piastri, right? Or it's like Norris Russell, I would imagine. I missed the FP3. What happened to McLaren? Yeah, so we've just been discussing that. They had telemetry issues. Norris was purple when they called him in. So they just didn't really set a lap. The track was kind of chaos. It was mixed weather. So, do you think the weird hours skew the driver of the day? Ooh, that's a good question, Tyrell. That's a really good question. I don't actually know if it would. I'm trying to think who is voting. Because, yeah, there wouldn't be... I don't think there would be as many Europeans voting for once. Like, maybe you could look more at online trends because it's a lot of more... You would imagine it's more Americans voting than usual. Fraser, good day. Welcome to the stream. But that's a really good question, Tyrell. I actually don't know. So we all know nada. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. UK sucks this race. I'm medically not allowed to watch the race on time because of meds. That is unfortunate, Holly. That is unfortunate. Medically not allowed to watch the race it is kind of funny. I mean, not to make fun of whatever condition you have, but like as a concept of medically not being allowed to watch a race, it is pretty funny. Crazy prediction time. Yes, as much as I would like to like get Ocon, what do I do? Can I do this? Okay, instead of getting Colapinto, then if I do Max Verstappen for Lando Norris, could I do like this? Would I be able to afford Norris then in Qatar without a hit? I mean, yeah, I would, right? Because Alonso and Colapinto would both be at 4.5 million. No McLaren top 4, Antonelli, Russell, Leclerc, Max top 4, yep. Wait, why is everyone hating on McLaren? Didn't watch FP3? They got P19 and P20. And they had some telemetry issues. But yeah, okay, so I can definitely go for like a Gasly here over Alonso and Colapinto. I could even maybe stretch it to someone else. Okay, hold up. Let me think about this. If we do Max Verstappen, we have 5.9 million to play around with. Liam Lawson's dropping in price. Probably, right? Isaac Hadjar. I mean, it is probably just Pierre Gasly. Maybe it's Bortoleto driver of the day. I said that in what's it called? In Brazil as well, and that didn't go that well. Yeah, if I go for Max Verstappen over Norris for the 2x, then I probably do Gasly instead of Colapinto on the Alonso switch. Hadjar definitely worth considering. Should I go Hadjar over Gasly then? If I pick Hadjar, that is 0.4 million that I have to make on these two. Extra. I think I think if I go Hadjar, I think I need Sainz to increase 0.6 million in price. Because I think I could get priced out of here. Or priced out of this. I need 0.4 more million. I think it's fine with Bearman going up in price. I think this is still fine with Hajar. Hajar will drop positions. I think I can afford to go for Hajar. I think I can technically afford to go for Lawson as well, even if he drops in price. But this is if we want Verstappen over Norris on the 2x for this race, right? I think if I don't sell Norris, if I keep Norris, I think it's literally... I think I do go for the Ocon switch. I think this is my move then. This prepares the transfer technically also for Qatar. So I think this is my transfer if I keep Norris. If I don't keep Norris, I definitely don't want to use all 3 of my transfers. I'm only using 2. This is the other option, right? And then I do think it's... Yeah, I don't think I actually want... I'm just anti-Gasly as a pick. Even though he's looking to rise in price, I'd rather pick Lawson or Hajar here. Verstappen and Russell or Norris and Leclerc. I could go either way. I think Norris and Leclerc is definitely way more of a differential, yeah? That sounds like a fun pick. I'm not going to be able to go for that because I'm way too focused on setting it up for Qatar. Why anti-Gasly? Because every time I pick Gasly, he DNFs. It's a curse of mine. It's a curse of mine that every time I pick Gasly, it just goes poorly. And the one time where I said like, oh, buy Gasly on my tip of the week, he DNF'd, or like he mechanical DNF'd on the formation lap. Nah, F Gasly. Yeah, that has been me this season. And like, mostly it served me well. It's just, I wish I had him last week instead of... Like, over the course of the season, I've been in a good position not owning Gasly. I think I've had Gasly at points, though. Yeah, you remember that? I mean, that was just peak, wasn't it? I definitely prefer the V-Car boys to Gasly. He did blow up the engine last year, to be fair, but he's doing so epic this week. We'll see if he does epic this week. I don't think... Okay, listen, I'm fine with owning him. I don't think he's bad, but I'd rather pick Hajar or... Why can I not buy Lawson? Huh? Are you guys seeing this? Why can I not buy Liam Lawson? I have 5.9 million. Am I stupid? Or is the game stupid? Ocon or Sainz? I think Ocon is better this week, personally. I mean, refresh it probably would work, but like, why is it not allowing me to buy Liam Lawson? Alright, there we go. Ocon or Sainz? Both is probably the answer, yeah. Game stupid. I think Ocon versus Sainz is a close one. I would prefer to have Ocon this week, but I think it's very close. I just like Ocon because he's not highly owned at all. Can we check the elite data actually? Can we see if Ocon has risen yet? No. I think it shows up after the deadline. I do think Verstappen and Russell... oh no, sorry. Norris and Leclerc is an interesting combo. Russell or Norris for 2x? That's actually a really good question, CB. I hadn't even really considered that. Because if I'm buying Max Verstappen, I'm buying Max Verstappen to slap the 2x on him. Rain, please, I want to know if I'm delusional. Is it stupid to go McLaren to Ferrari? Then I can go for Max Mercedes or Piastri Ferrari with McLaren in 3 transfers. I am trying to picture in my mind what you just said, and I really cannot. I do think it's because it's 3:22 a.m. Have I also not opened the support team submissions? I don't think I have. I think I've been stupid. Whoops. Permissions. Let me go and fix that. Send message. There you go. The submissions channel is open on Discord now. I forgot about that. What drivers would you use for Limitless? I'm gonna put it in a mini league. I would probably go double Mercedes, actually. Oh, it's a tough one though if you would go for double McLaren. I mean, yeah, you kind of have to go for double McLaren. I think Limitless this week is super difficult to call. Really difficult to call. I would prefer using Limitless in Abu Dhabi, definitely. I think it's super hard to call this week because, like, do you want Ferrari drivers? You might want Ferrari drivers. You might want Leclerc. But yeah, Mrs. Sacha. I'm trying to figure. Okay, so I mean, selling constructor to Ferrari, I would imagine you want McLaren back in Qatar. So that's what I would consider with that, right? Man, you wish you had wildcard. That would change a lot of things, huh? You have wildcard and 3 chips left. You can use wildcard this week, King's Landing, to set it up. You don't need to spam. I see your message, King's Landing. Norris, Russell, Baron, Alonso, Bortoletto, McLaren, Mercedes. Yeah, you have a like standard team. You can use wildcard to get to Norris, Verstappen. Yeah, I think that's really good. If you need to use the wildcard to get to that team, you do it now, obviously. Yeah, I mean Leclerc was fast in like FP1, right? But then he had gearbox issues in FP2, and then I don't really know what happened to him in FP3. But if that maps it out better, this race McLaren to Ferrari. Next race Ferrari, Tsunoda, Antonelli to McLaren, Max, Alonso. Interesting, yeah. I mean, look, anything betting against McLaren, Mercedes for constructors could shoot you up the rankings if you're right. But I will say that unless McLaren pick up a DNF, you're unlikely to actually profit that much from it. Right? Does that make sense? Let's look at it. Let's look at some data actually. Data's fun. So, if we look at constructors here, and let us fantasy points types. This is why I love F1 Fantasy Tools, man. You can go to here, race not classified, race disqualified, and basically just remove DNFs, right? Because DNFs really skew the data. Qualifying not classified, qualifying disqualified. So this is still, you know, earning less points because they still got the DNF, right? Sprint not classified, sprint disqualified. Remove all of that. Save. And then we can look here at constructor points, right? So, McLaren, without the DNFs, even though they did not have as good of a weekend, you know, Piastri had a DNF and stuff like that, very close to Red Bull and Mercedes in terms of points. You have Mexico. McLaren heavily outscored everyone. But I'm trying to find the weekends where McLaren were not, like, dominant, right? Sprint weekends, again, difficult to really call that. But even then, not that far away. Here, for example, right? McLaren not that far ahead, but it's not like they're far behind either. In Azerbaijan, McLaren had a horrid time, right? So this is like the one massive outlier, I would say. Here, McLaren by far the best. This weekend, McLaren not by far the best, but not far behind either. McLaren by far the best, McLaren by far the best, McLaren by far the best, McLaren by far the best. This is earlier in the season, right? So McLaren fell off slightly here, but even then, they had a DNF in this, right? Not that far away from Red Bull and Mercedes, or Red Bull and Ferrari. So I would say that if McLaren don't have a DNF, you don't actually gain that much in rank from selling them. Because you actually need Ferrari to be like, for example, in Canada, right? You need Ferrari, if you're selling McLaren to Ferrari, you need Ferrari to have a week like Mercedes did in Canada over McLaren, what they produced, in order for it to be worth it, right? I think, again, the massive outliers is Azerbaijan. Again, they had a DNF here. But here was Williams and V-Carb who did it. Look, Data's fun, true F1 fan, yeah. Hulk looks good. I agree Hulk looks good. I think Hulk is a fantastic differential this week. I wish I could play more to the differentials, but I'm very much trying to set up my 3x. If I'd already used my 3x in, like, Kota, I would definitely be using more transfers now and, like, not be worried about saving transfers from Qatar at all. I would just be going for more differential picks. That makes a lot of sense. What would you recommend doing instead? That's difficult to say, honestly. It depends on what your 3x plays are. If you, I think you did say that you still had a 3x, right? Maybe that was someone else. I think, depending on what your team is, I think everything that I say, you have to consider if you have 3x versus if you don't have 3x, right? Because if you have 3x remaining and you're planning to use that in Qatar, that entirely, like, changes how you should set up your team and how you should consider transfer for this week. I had a comment like that on YouTube. Let me just double check it because I don't remember exactly what it was, but I thought it was a good one. Let's see. Thank you for the nice comments, though. Can't wait for the deadline stream. Thank you, guys. Here, it was Austin over on YouTube who said, Rain, if you have Norris/Piastri with the 3 cheapest B-tier drivers, would you focus on getting better B-tier drivers? I have McLaren, Mercedes, so I'm fine there. I think that's a super interesting question because it entirely depends on the 3x. I kind of briefly mentioned it in my in the Final Thoughts video that should you go all out for the best 3x drivers? Like, should you go all out to have Norris and Verstappen and completely sacrifice your midfield drivers when these midfield drivers are scoring such high, or like have such high potential point scoring and can reach those random 30 pointers this season? Because again, that did not happen last year, right? Last year, we did not see that many 30-pointers in the midfield. This year, it feels like there's a 30-pointer in the midfield every weekend. And if you have those midfield drivers, you could get lucky and hit those. Whereas if you're sitting there with Gasly, Colapinto, and a Fernando Alonso who DNFs all the time, you're not going to hit that 30-pointer. You're less likely to hit that 30-pointer, right? So for that reason, is it worth it to sacrifice all your B-tier drivers to have Max Verstappen over Piastri on the 3x, for example? And I think this question is really... this question in particular is really, really good because Austin didn't specify here if he had the 3x, right? If you have the 3x, that extra 2x chip on that better premium driver can make up for the loss of points that you get by running worse drivers in the midfield. So if you don't have the 3x, I wouldn't stress out about going for Norris plus Verstappen. I would definitely be content with running like Verstappen plus Piastri instead, and then having better budget drivers because you're not getting those extra points from the 3x in Qatar anyway, right? So I think that's a big factor for what you should actually be doing this coming week. And the same thing someone just said Hulkenberg looks good. I agree, Hulkenberg looks good. For me, who still have the 3x, I can't really afford to just go on make a transfer and get Hulkenberg in, because if I do so, I then lock myself out of the 3x I want for the next race. But if you've already used your 3x, Why not take a bet on Hulkenberg this week? That sounds super fun. I wish I could do that. That's basically my spiel. Limitless question. Use it in Qatar because sprint. I mean, if you only have Limitless left, you can look and see how the Qatar sprint qualifying looks, and then decide if you want to use it in Qatar or not. But I think Limitless in Abu Dhabi is definitely a play as well. Leaning towards just selling Tsunoda. Yeah, I think Tsunoda's a good sell this week. But I've been anti-Tsunoda for a while, even when he's been performing decently well in fantasy. 5.9 in the bank, but we'll also end up selling them so I can get Norris, Piastri, Verstappen. Yeah, it seems good. Yeah, I didn't see that you had Tsunoda in your initial team. I do think Tsunoda's probably the sell then. Norris, Antonelli, Tsunoda. Yeah, if you sell Tsunoda now to something cheaper, maybe like an Ocon or something, depending on what you want to afford later on, of course, you can then maybe upgrade Antonelli next week. Yeah, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, I think that's the play for you. Would you recommend Verstappen, Russell plus autopilot? Yeah, I think that's good. I really like autopilot in every week coming up. So if you have autopilot left and you're already planning on using the 3X in Qatar, I mean, you might as well use autopilot this week. I think autopilot, especially with George Russell in there this week, is really good because Russell can definitely get the points. So hard to predict the 30 points, but it's not going to be the Alpines. Exactly. That's precisely what I'm championing. That was my computer, by the way. I just pinned something. Don't worry about it. Appreciate your help. Thanks. No problem, Mr. Sack. No problem. Is Norris still number 1 pick this week? Maybe it's Max Verstappen. I mean, he did do purple and then give up the run. I would say probably. I still have not decided what I'm doing here, actually. And if I'm doing Max Verstappen, who I'm doing instead of Colapinto, if it's Hadjar or Lawson, it's probably Hadjar or Lawson. If you had Alonso, Colapinto, Gasly, then would you use 2 transfers to get Verstappen, Russell, previously both McLaren boys? So, okay, you had Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Colapinto, Gasly, right? Just switching premium drivers works, I guess. I mean, you are downgrading. So if you had a 3rd transfer, I would definitely upgrade one of Alonso, Colapinto, Gasly. Didn't mention I have autopilot. I mean, autopilot shouldn't influence your decision in any way, I don't think. I just said autopilot's a good activation, but you shouldn't build your team around the autopilot. Rye on Twitch says, do you consider it better to not take into consideration DNF while calculating average points in the last 5 races, let's say? Yes. Because you can't predict DNFs. I mean, you could look and say Bortoleto looked shaky in Brazil, and that's why I didn't want him, and then he crashed twice. So there's some skills towards avoiding DNFs for sure. But in terms of looking at the average points, the DNFs skew the points so heavily because it's such a big negative that I almost always, when looking at like performance over the last couple of weeks, I always remove DNFs in the statistics tab on F1 Fantasy Tools, just because I like seeing that Alonso's DNF'd 3 in the last 5 races doesn't help me in terms of making a decision towards picking him or not. I like it. The points are lower anyway because of the DNF, right? And yeah, it's just what happens with DNFs in this game, that because the point, the negative that you get from them is so big. They are a big part of the game, but I think it's a good way to, like, for example, what we just discussed, like, okay, should you sell the McLaren Constructor? Well, like, what are you actually gaining by selling the McLaren Constructor this week? Because bar McLaren getting a DNF, I mean, if McLaren get a DNF, you're I mean, you're so golden, right? But that's what you're betting for. And as long as you know that that's what you're betting for, I think it's fine. But you need to be aware that that is what you're betting for. Because, like, the only thing you're playing towards is McLaren DNFing, and they're owned by 98% of people. If they don't DNF, then you're probably not making that much points. I don't feel good about any of the rookies this week. Low grip, street circuit, etc. I agree. But here I am picking rookies anyway. Oh, that's completely fine, Austin. Ask as many questions you want. First year in fantasy. Welcome to the community, man. Porsche F1 is considering Cyril McLaren. I think Cyril McLaren is a really good shout. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad shout at all. I think it's a really good shout, in fact. Especially if you're looking to chase rank. Again, because they're owned by 98% of people. But just know that if you're going McLaren less, you're betting on a McLaren DNF. And if McLaren don't DNF, you're likely not gaining that much points. Looking for recommends for the 3x setup. I have 133 million. Verstappen, Russell, double Alpine, Sainz with McLaren, Merc. Not sure what I'm doing. I mean, the team looks good, right? I think for 133 million, you're slightly lower on budget than where I am and some other people. Meaning you're never stretching it to like a Norris. Maybe you can stretch it if McLaren look really good. You can stretch it to Norris plus Piastri, right? You rock like this team in Vegas, and then next week you sell Verstappen, Russell, and Sainz down to the Sainz would go down to Alonso at 4.5 million when Alonso's dropped in price, and then Verstappen and Russell can go to Norris and Piastri. You can probably afford that. Guys, the F1 Academy finale is on. I do wish I could. I'll watch that after the fact. The leader spun. That is dramatic. I know it's completely crazy. I actually tend to take a -20. You're crazy. You're crazy. Is Tsunoda sell this week? I've said the Tsunoda's a sell for weeks now, but yeah, I think selling Tsunoda this week sounds strong. Camera seems out of focus. Thank you. It definitely is. That happens sometimes. And my camera, I don't know why, but it never autofocuses. Let me fix it real quick. A quick restart usually fixes it. There we go. It just never autofocuses. Like, once it's out of focus, it's just gone. Thank you so much, Jim. Big up Jim for the shout out. Because I don't look at my own camera on the side. I usually have, if I had like 14 screens, then maybe I could have my camera up as well, but I have too many tabs up. First year fantasy manager sitting 1.5 global. How did I get here? Good solid place throughout the season. Good fundamentals. Question is, will the 3x mitigate double Alpine? I mean, that's what I'm hoping, because I might be running double Alpine next week. Actually, I might not be running double Alpine. I might not have Gasly. I don't think I will have Gasly next week. I think I'll have just Colapinto. I think my double Alpine will be, I mean, I'll have like Alonso, Colapinto, and one of the V-Car boys, I would imagine, on the cheapest drivers team. Thoughts on Gasly this week for points? I don't think he's getting another 21-pointer. Let's just say that. I don't think he's bad. But, I mean, he's going to get like 6 points if he doesn't DNF. I think he's going to be fine. Did you watch P3? I assume that's, yeah, FP3. I did not watch FP3. I was soundly asleep, getting my 3.5 hours of sleep in before streaming for 3 hours and then working for 12. So I don't know the ins and outs of what happened in FP3. I will throw that out there. I've only learned stuff from you guys, from Twitter, and from looking at timetables. FP3 was shocking, gave us no new information. That is what I've heard. That is what I've heard. Bad track, basically. Also, thank you, Dakota. That's very kind of you. Quick shout out. Like the stream on YouTube if you haven't already, because I'm up at 3 a.m. in the morning. You guys do not know how dead I'm gonna be tonight at like 7 p.m. I'm gonna be absolutely cooked. But we're doing it for the deadline stream. So make sure to like it. Where are we at? I can't see it. Stream settings. We're on 46 likes, 140 people. 140 people is a big turnout considering the the time of day. Let's try and if we can get 100 likes on the YouTube stream today, I'm definitely happy. If we can get 100 likes on YouTube, I am content. All right, we haven't done a few of the normal things. We've just been discussing stuff, which I mean, it's cozy. It's not as rigid as some other Deadline streams. It's one of those more vibey ones. But we haven't done F1 Predict, so let's quickly get to that. Interesting though, Vegas low grip with similar track to Baku. Feels like Baku would be a good race as a reference. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. What FPL transfers are you making this week? I made my transfer super early to not get priced out, and now I'm stuck with Gabriel. And I don't want to use my free hit, but I'm getting Mbeumo in and Van Dijk. That's basically it. Alright, predict the podium. Wow, they have Russell above Piastri? That's crazy. What world do we live in? I mean, I do think the podium are these three. The fact that you still get 15 points for predicting... only 15 points for predicting Hamilton is kind of crazy. This should be 25. I just got a text. Sorry, I'm just getting a text at 3:44 a.m., so that's never good. It's fine. Yeah. I'm texting with a friend who's definitely out drinking. So he hasn't gone to sleep yet, and I've just woken up. That's kind of funny. Ocon or Sainz, I think it's a very close call this week. I would prefer to have Ocon, but I think Sainz is fine, and I'm probably sticking with Sainz. God gave me 2 eyes so I can watch both the Twitch and YouTube stream. That's crazy. Why Ocon? Ocon usually qualifies slightly lower. He's going to be in that midfield pack overtaking. There's a bunch of midfield overtakes usually in Vegas. He looks likely for an increase in price. I think he's very low owned in the game. He's owned by only like 1.8% of players in the top 500. So I think it's a big differential as well. I just think Ocon is good this week. But actually, like, the main reason why I want him is that Sainz is owned by 63% of people and Ocon's owned by 1.8%. So if Sainz has a bad weekend and Ocon has a decent weekend, I mean, that's money right there. You have wildcard, autopilot, and final fix left. Only 118 million. I mean, yeah, it's like an Antonelli team, right? Yes. Oh, that is 100% what autopilot is. Like, autopilot is by far the worst chip in the game, because realistically, between your two drivers, it's like you're usually putting the 2x on the correct driver, right? If you didn't do that, then you're playing the game wrong. So I think over 50% of the time, autopilot does nothing. If you actually think about it, because if you have two good drivers, if you have like a Norris and a Russell, right, which I'm on currently, usually I would predict that Norris outscores Russell. I put the 2x on Norris. It's not that often that Russell actually outscores Norris. I think this could be a weekend where he does so, which is why I do think autopilot is like a little bit better this weekend than normally. But I wouldn't build my team around it, right? It's 100% just a safety net, and even most of the time when you do get value from the autopilot, the times you get a big value boost with autopilot is when your 2x driver DNF'd, right? which is super unlucky and very rarely happens. I think it's happened like once to me this season, maybe twice, that my 2x driver DNF'd. So autopilot, 100% just look at it as a worst no negative chip, as a safety net. It very rarely actually comes into play. I think it's particularly good this weekend because I think Russell looks really good. So if you have Russell in your team, I think autopilot, and you have autopilot remaining, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't pop it. Sims out. We'll look at Sims. Okay. Let's continue F1 Predict. So I'm just gonna... whatever. Pole position. I'll go for Max. Can Lando make it 3? Lando's on 3 poles in a row. Alright. How many teams will get a car into Q3? Let's do 8. That's just a lot of points. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? I will say Oliver Behrman because it gives more points. Who will finish ahead? But I do think it's going to be Alonso. Who will finish ahead in the race? I'll say Hajar. Who will set the fastest pit stop time of the race? Just keep picking Ferrari. Will the safety car or VSC be required? Yes, because someone, Storm Drain is going to come loose or something. Who will set the fastest lap time of the race? I'll go Lando Norris up in front. And then which team will score more points this weekend? I'll say Haas scores more points. And then the final question, what will be the biggest gaining positions by a single driver in the race? Hamilton in 2024 and Stroll 2023 delivered brilliant through-the-field drives in Vegas. I'll go 6 to 10. I don't think we're gonna see anything this drastic. All right, back home. Cool. Back to the real game. All right. Now the question is, what are we doing? Sims are out. Sims are out. Oh my god, a 4 AM pretty girl selfie? I wish. Unfortunately not. Hopefully you'll have some good sleep tomorrow night so you'll be able to wake up for the race. I might stream the race. Watch along race at 5 AM. That sounds kind of fun actually. I might do that. Force myself to go up and watch it. Otherwise I'm definitely just not gonna wake up in time. I'd be down to watch along the race on Twitch. F1 Predict answer were identical. Yeah, it's one of those weeks, huh? Is McLaren's previous form in Vegas something to account for? It is in the back of my mind, yes. Also, Vegas close to track in terms of characteristics in Baku. Yeah, I'm leaning more and more towards the Max Verstappen play. And just keeping Sainz. I got an interesting one for you, Rain. Antonelli plus Behrman versus Russell plus Colapinto. Antonelli, Behrman, Russell, Colapinto. Ooh, that's a really interesting one, actually. You're not wrong when you said that's an interesting one. I always assume Russell will outscore Antonelli. But by how much? I think for this weekend, it's Antonelli Behrman. For next weekend, I think I would pick Russell Colapinto. I think Antonelli Behrman is probably better. It's close though. All right, let's go to Sims. Let's switch up the music because we've been listening to this track for like an hour. All right. Reither has. Reither has brought us Sims. What is he predicting? Low scores for Norris, huh? Is this correct? Okay, what's this then? Leclerc 24-pointer seems crazy to bring in, no? Oh, that's what he's predicting on most drivers. Points, expected points. 27, 27. Slightly higher on Verstappen. Verstappen, Hadjar, Verstappen, Hadjar, Verstappen, Hadjar. Verstappen, Lawson. I mean, everyone is basically equal here. Russell, Leclerc, Antonelli, Gasly, Alonso is a crazy lineup, by the way. This seems crazy. No? Imagine going for this. Interestingly, no, with a max transfer penalty of -10, not recommending any constructor transfer until you like down here in 15th, which I think checks out. Let's remove this and just look at maximum budget of, what's my budget? 138 million. There's no way that's actually the best team currently. There's no way. That's insane. I guess, yeah, when you don't have a premium driver, you can afford an Antonelli in there. Ferrari, Mercedes, Russell, Leclerc, Antonelli, Hadjar, Behrman. This team is crazy. 138 million exactly. Wow. They're really using all the money here. What if we do this? No Antonelli. Okay, it's all Verstappen teams then. No Antonelli, it's all Verstappen teams. And it's... the points are very close. Yeah, if we remove the Antonelli pill from F1 Fantasy Tools, it's... look how... what the team looks like. It's always Verstappen, Russell, Verstappen, Russell, Verstappen, Russell. And they're just like a mix of drivers here. That's really interesting. I think that's a good find. Remove Russell. We can remove Russell. Verstappen, Leclerc. Is it ever Norris? Leclerc, Hamilton, Antonelli. Oh. That's crazy. I think that might be the season historical weight skewing McLaren. That's possible. Fair warning to all. I went Kimi and Ollie. My last 2 weeks have been the worst. I'll take that into consideration. Yeah, no Russell's also interesting, but I think no Antonelli is more interesting because it really shows like exactly what was popular. This is great on not great FP sessions. Yup. You have Norris Russell right now. I also have Norris Russell right now. Okay, I'm heavily considering selling Norris to Verstappen and then just keeping Sainz because like it's whatever. And then doing. Okay, here's a good question actually. I won't do a poll. Can I add more options to the poll? Add option. I can. Okay. Because I do think this is actually an option to consider. So, over on YouTube, I have a poll up now. Sell Alonso for who? So this is if I buy Verstappen for Norris. I'm selling Alonso no matter what I do this week. And I do think I can afford to go for any one of these drivers here. Should we consider McLaren after FP3? I think we should still consider them. It's raining a lot now at Vegas. Oh, that was not on the forecast. Let me go check the weather again. Las Vegas weather. I mean, it looked like it was gonna rain tonight. Oh, it is raining right now. Interesting. It's completely switched since last time I looked. And that was like an hour ago. Let me look on the radar. Don't buy Gasly, please, for the rest of us. Good race for no negative? Yeah. Usually, you will have heard me throughout the season say use no negative in a sprint race or in a sprint weekend. But if you have no negative and 3x remaining, use no negative now because you're using the 3x in Qatar, right? Let me get... Oh, this is so ungodly bright. Where's the track? Oh, yeah, it's just dead center. Where's the track in Vegas? Like, how central is it? I mean, I know it's... I know like it's super central, but I don't know the... I'm trying to see exactly on the radar. I mean, it just rain everywhere. And it's not looking like it's going to stop. That is rather interesting. Yeah, the rain doesn't really stop until like halfway through quali, huh? That's no fun. Or maybe it is fun. The track is right beside the sphere. Yeah, but the AccuWeather, I can't see where the freaking anything is on this. Alright, there it is. I found it. Okay. Found it. Found the sphere. Yes, I think it's looking like it's gonna just rain the entire session now, or at least like first 15-20 minutes of it. That's very interesting. Rainy race day. I mean, this is rainy quali day. What's it looking like for tomorrow? Tomorrow looks fine, weather like rain-wise. Would rather gasoline than both RBs in the wet. That is a shout. Yeah, it's pouring right now. Yeah, I can see that. Does that mean we'll bring in Stroll? I mean, Stroll did do like a 15 place increase last time around or something like that. Q1 rain might have dried track by Q3. That is what I can see on the radar as well. So that I believe them. 5 DNFs in F1 Academy. Damn. Alright, we definitely should consider that then. All these rookies are gonna spin out. 60% said Hadjar. 33% gasoline. No one said Lawson or Colapinto. I mean, I get it. I definitely agree with you guys. But it sucks like selling Alonso before a rain race, but I kind of have to sell Alonso. Because if Hadjar drops 0.6 million here, it's fine because I'm not selling him and I'm buying Alonso back. I just need Behrman and Sainz to do well. This is why I'm a bit iffy on Antonelli. I don't think he should be. Antonelli's done decently well in the rain so far this season. It will still be very slippy because it doesn't dry out properly. Yeah, there's like no... The weather just stays. Oh, look, it auto-updated. Sick. But if it rains, would Gasly be a better option than Hadjar? The thing is, if I go for Gasly over Hadjar, I'm forced into double Alpine for Qatar. Is Alonso a must sell? No, absolutely not. I think Alonso is a great keep this week. I just have to sell him so that I can afford Piastri and Norris. No. I have to sell him so I can afford Verstappen Norris next week. Alonso is a must sell for me, but definitely not overall. Because if I sell Alonso this week, I can buy him back at 4.5 million next week and thus afford... I mean, look, I'll just do... What? Oh. Like, look at this. I have exactly 4.5 million in the bank, and Alonso will be 4.5 million next week. And this is not even accounting for any increases in price this week. But Alonso will drop to 4.5 million. So I can just afford Norris Verstappen next week if I sell Alonso now. Is Colapinto fine for these conditions? I wouldn't bet on it. Okay, if I'm sticking with Norris though, and I'm selling Alonso, if I don't want to go for the Colapinto, could I do like? No, I probably can't afford. I mean, it would be Gasly then. It would be Gasly plus Hadjar. It would be this, which then also just straight up forces me. I mean, I suppose I could sell Gasly next week instead of Hadjar and keep Hadjar. And sell Gasly, Behrman, Russell to Verstappen next week. Sainz over Hadjar. I mean, Sainz is just because I have Sainz, right? I'm leaning more and more into the Max Verstappen play this week. And then doing probably Hadjar here. I'm leaning towards this. Does no negative change your team? No. I think like this looks pretty good. Good morning, Ronch. So I could go for this. And then next week I sell Russell, who will have gone up by 0.1 million. I sell Behrman, who will have gone up 0.6. So that's an extra 0.7 in the bank. Extra 0.7 in the bank here, remember? Hopefully Sainz has also risen, but let's assume he only rises 0.2. So 0.7, that's 0.9 in the bank. Norris will have increased by 0.1, so that's that removes an extra point. So now we're at why did I say 0.7? So now we're at 0.8 extra in the bank. 0.8 extra in the bank. Remember, 0.8 extra in the bank. We have 0.8 extra in the bank. So we're going to be at 4.9 million, and Alonso's going to be at 4.5, so I have some buffer to play around with. I think this is the play. Is there a sprint coming up? Yes, there's a sprint in Qatar next week. Behrman did not like driving around the track, and that, yeah, but the thing is, like, Behrman is going to increase in price even if you DNF, so I literally can't sell Behrman this week. I think if you don't care about budget at all for your team, and you already have the budget that you want to do the things you want to do, or you've already used a 3x, or you're not looking to, like, go for a Lando Norris plus Max Verstappen play, which I don't think you should be aiming towards, by the way, if you, like, aren't super rich and don't have the 3x left. Right? If you already use your 3x, don't worry about building your team for Norris plus Verstappen. Like, just go Norris or Verstappen plus Russell, and that's fine. And then just play the best drivers here. And if you want to sell Behrman here because you don't care about budget, I think that's a fantastic play. Again, Behrman is going to be super, super popular this week. A lot of people are going to have Behrman in their teams. And if you don't have Behrman in your teams and he DNFs, you gain points. And points is all that matters at the end of the day, baby. So, like, points-wise... Okay, listen. I've talked a lot about my team, what I'm planning on doing. But I think if you're going fully points, like, something like this, why not, right? Or then instead of Alonso, again, it could be literally anyone here. If you want Sainz, that's fine. But, like, this could be Hadjar, this could be, you know, whatever you can afford, right? Let's just do Hadjar here, or again Alonso, because a lot of people are gonna sell Alonso. Again, if you want to do Norris here instead of Max Verstappen, you can do so. I think these teams are the best for points, like gaining position. I think Hulkenberg is a like, I would go for Hulkenberg or Ocon over Behrman if I was only looking for points this week. And And that's just because of a differential. Bearman didn't look super. Hasn't said that has said that he didn't feel super comfortable, that he didn't like the track or whatever. If only points, why not 2 A drivers and Antonelli? Because I can afford it, right? I need to go without. I think still the best 2x is Norris or Verstappen. I mean, you need to do something like this if you want to afford Antonelli as well. Like, or like we're getting into crazy territories. Currently 11th in the Russell Mini League. That's huge. Huge. Ryan, who do you think will get more points, Ocon or Hulkenberg? I think Hulkenberg has a higher ceiling, but also a lower floor. I think Ocon overall is just safer. I think Ocon is going to bank between 5 and 10 points, or between 5 and like 12 points. I think Hulkenberg is the one that could pop up with like an 18-pointer, but he could also get like -2, right? I wouldn't trust the Sims too much in terms of because like Sims on the cheap drivers, when it's like 2 points difference between them, I don't think that matters too much, because it all depends on where they qualify. Like if Hadjar qualifies P20 and climbs to P11, then like he suddenly pops up with 20 points, right? So in terms of cheap assets, like I pretty much only look at the Sims in terms of like, can we see any... It's one thing if like the V car pops up with like, oh, they're gonna get 15 points each, then we're talking. But yeah, I do think the like going without Bearman this week, I think is definitely a strong play. I'm not going to do so because I would love the 0.6 million for him, so I can do the 3x with Verstappen Norris. I mean, I've said that a million times now. It's probably getting pretty annoying to listen to. Hello, would you pick Max or Lando this weekend? I prefer Max this weekend, and I'm probably doing the transfer to Max, actually. Norris or Russell, who's better for points? That's the real question. I don't know. Like, if you have Russell, do you put the 2x on Russell here? Okay, if you had okay, we have another poll on YouTube. I'm gonna assume you have either Norris or Verstappen in your team. How brave are you? Do you put the 2x on Russell over Norris and Verstappen? That's the question. But I think this is gonna be my team. No, don't ask us that. I keep asking to myself that. I'm only asking the hard questions, okay? I'm only asking the hard questions. Answer is autopilot. True, the answer is autopilot. My answer is I've already used autopilot. That same team you have, but Ferrari Mercedes. Ferrari Mercedes is brave. I've already talked a bunch about Ferrari over McLaren this week. You can go back in the stream if you want to revisit that topic. I talked about it, I'd say like 40 minutes ago, maybe. I can't actually remember what it was. It was probably earlier than that. 50 minutes ago, maybe. I had like a pretty big in-depth discussion about it. If you've no chips left because you can maximize the sprint, no. I mean, and in terms of maximizing the sprint for autopilot, it's just 2 times where your 2x driver potentially could DNF. So that's, if you only have autopilot left, you can use it today, especially if you have Russell and you're unsure if Russell's going to outperform Verstappen or Norris. But I do think autopilot, like, at that point, just use it in the sprint, right? Second global is killing my confidence to make big moves. Wow. Second global is crazy. Oh my god, you can actually win the entire thing. Norris, Verstappen, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes, 2x Verstappen or Norris. Oh, that's a big call. That's a big call, Batters. Congratulations. No matter where you finish the season, that's huge. That is actually crazy. I mean, what a team, right? Norris plus Verstappen, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly is pretty massive. 2x Verstappen or Norris? I would say you put it on Verstappen this week. But it's very close. It's very close. And also, like, points-wise, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly, there's not, like, much you can do better there, realistically. I mean, I'm assuming you don't have that much money to upgrade around. Like, maybe moving Gasly to one of the V-Car boys. But maybe moving Sainz to, like, an Ocon. But there's not much you can do in terms of actually improving that team. Points-wise, because that's all you care about now. Like, you just need the points. But as you still have the 3x remaining. Like, if you have your 3x remaining in your second global, like, you can actually win it. Squeaky bum time. Yup. That's huge. Massive congratulations. I mean, no matter where you finish up. Look at this. Oh, the Bortoleto last week. Unlucky. Oh, you're doing Bortoleto to Sainz. No 3x. Might be rough. There's gonna be people behind you chasing with 3x for sure. So I do think okay, I would say for your own mental, because obviously, like, if I was second global, I would also be stressing. Just know there's gonna be people, like, in the top 20 who haven't used the 3x yet. So just know that, like, if you go into it thinking, okay, I have to get lucky to even survive the 3x next week, because people will pop it, I think that will decrease your stress slightly. This is going to be a very mental thing. I know it's like, I'm second, I can win this thing, but there's going to be people in the top 20 who haven't used the 3x, and unless they get unlucky with the 3x, they're probably going to pass you, right? So, I would say just focus on that and just make solid decisions. But I think your team is really good. The 2x Norris versus Verstappen could obviously be a massive swing. I'd say Verstappen is safer. Norris could definitely pop up and just win the race, right? But Norris is very unpopular anyway. If Norris wins the race, I'm assuming he does it from pole. So at that point, he gets his 35, like, you know, like between 35 and 40 points. If he gets fastest lap, it's like 45 points. But it's not even a guarantee that he does get the fastest lap. And if there's something wrong with the McLaren, and especially considering how McLaren performed in what's it face in Azerbaijan, I do think it's safer to put the 2x on Verstappen this week. Should I use final fix this week? I cannot respond to that until after qualifying. Would you take a -10 if you need to today? It entirely depends on what you need to do. Driver of the day favorites is probably Max or Kimi. I agree. Do you think Piastri's done? Really sad to see, in my opinion. I liked how cutthroat he seemed. I think Norris has wrapped up the championship. I mean, Piastri needs a miracle now to overtake him. Like, he needs Norris to DNF, and he needs to, like, actually start winning races. But he has not even been on the podium in the last couple. So yeah, I mean, it's sad to see. I agree. I'm a big fan of Piastri, but he's just not had it at the end of the season. This could be a spicy quality. Yup. Oh, rain is increasing in intensity. Fantastic. Which B-tier drivers do we like for keeping in Qatar for the rest of the season? Top 3K, only going for points now. I mean, anything that's not Alpine, right? If you had, like, gun to my head, pick 3 drivers, 3 midfield drivers, and you can't change them until the end of the season, for any budget, like, below... I mean, Behrman, I think, would be an obvious one. But even, like, below Behrman, I could definitely find 3. I would pick, like, Behrman, Sainz, and Hadjar. But strong candidates would be Lawson, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Ocon. But I mean, if I had to pick 3, it'd probably Behrman, Sainz, and Hadjar, which is what I'm probably running this week. How many drivers would you consider final fixing Lando to if they have a shocker in qualifying? Dude, if Lando has a shocker in qualifying, it depends on what kind of shocker. Because if Lando is starting P17, I would want to final fix Lando in, not out. If the shocker is like P5, P6, which, you know, would also kind of be considered a shocker based on how he's performed recently, then I would consider going to like a Russell or a Verstappen for sure. 2x will go on Max. Mississauga again. Maybe Tsunoda, Antonelli to Max Colapinto. That seems strong. I don't mind it at all. That's a really strong move. 2x will go to Max, yeah. No, inverse. Okay, how many drivers would you consider final fixing Lando to if they're... Oh, like final fixing something to Lando? I mean... Everyone? I mean, if you have final fix, you need to use it by the end of the season. Woo! Jesus. Is Merc Haas worth taking if you can have Verstappen, Norris, and Antonelli? No. Premium constructors get too many points, in my opinion. Maybe in the sprint race, but we're still pushing it. What are we thinking now with the rain? I think rookies are rough, but I don't think we can do too much about it. There's not much that the rain has made me reconsider, if I'm honest. Maybe a qualifying surprise from the rain. Yeah, the qualifying is going to be very, very, very interesting. What time are you checking team submissions, Rain? Totally not closing my eyes while listening. I'm going to be honest, I completely forgot about the time. So we're doing team submissions now. Alright, priority team submissions. It's time. What are we doing? I see. Alright, so if you haven't been here before, team submissions. If you are either... I haven't actually checked if we've had any new subscriptions on Twitch. We have not. That's okay. If you are subscribed on Twitch, or if you are a member on YouTube, you get priority team submissions. I review your team every time, guaranteed. If not, you can put your teams in the team submissions channel. Do we have any? Oh, we do have, yeah. Cool. We'll start with priority, though. So, this is from last week. Yep. Calandori, wake up. Calandori, wake up. Don't fall asleep now. Earth to Calandori, I'm reviewing your team. Earth to Calandori, I'm reviewing your team. Current team, you have 3x, 2 transfers. Important information. Verstappen, Piastri. Okay, I mean, I love going out of the Piastri. You should have probably done so like 3 races ago, but it is what it is. Rough team with Piastri, Bortoleto last week. Yikes. And Alonso. Ooh. Verstappen, Russell seems really strong. Piastri, Russell, Bortoleto to Behrman. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer move. I'm wondering what your budget is then. Because with 3x, I'm assuming your plan is just Norris, Verstappen, or it's like going to be like Verstappen, Piastri, right? Went to P. Did I miss mine? No, this is the first one. I don't think you're doing Verstappen to Norris. Piastri to Leclerc. I mean, this is kind of crazy. I think if anything, you're keeping Verstappen and just buying Russell over Piastri. And like Russell and Behrman is a good switch, but obviously with 2 transfers, you only have 2 transfers in Qatar. So what is your preferred lineup then? I mean, you might just have to pop the 3x with like Verstappen Russell or with Norris Russell. With this. Because then in Qatar, you're like selling Behrman to a cheap driver and upgrading one. Maybe. At most. Is Norris final fixable only if he qualifies below P4, P5? Norris is final fixing to Norris from like a Verstappen. Say Verstappen qualifies P6, right? I would consider final fixing Verstappen to Norris if Norris is either on pole, because I do think that's a guaranteed 25 points. Maybe some overtakes when he pits into the back of the grid and then, drives through. And then he might get fast lap as well for like a 35 to 40 pointer. So Norris on pole, always final fixable. Where he will have to qualify in the back of the grid for me to consider him is probably like he goes out in Q2 or earlier. if he's like P8, I don't think it's worth going to him. I think that death spot for premium drivers is that like P5 to like P7. That's where it's like not worth having them. Maybe if they go to like from P7 to P1, they're gonna get a lot of points, right? But you don't really expect that. If Norris is P17, you're assuming that it's gonna go up to like at least P5, right? Or P5, P6, and that's a lot of overtakes, a lot of positions gained, right? So anything like below, like Q2 or below, I think I would consider final fixing someone in for the overtaking and positions gained potential. But yeah, I prefer this team, Kellandori. Like, I just really like getting Bearman in. But it entirely depends on like what you expect your front two lineup to be next week. Could slot in Ocon rather than Bearman if it preps the 3x better. I don't think it preps the 3x better because like you're selling that slot anyway, right? Like the slot you're selling to upgrade is gonna be the Bearman slot, right? That is what you're doing. Next week, if you do this, like even if this is Ocon, right? It's probably that slot because it's the most. I mean, if it's Ocon, I guess you could choose to sell the sign slots, but you're selling that slot anyway. I do think this is the best. I wouldn't sell Max this week. Fraser, change of plan. Both McLaren drivers out and Max and Russell in. 2x on Russell. 2x on Russell is pretty cool. Yeah, just both of them out, nothing else. That's spicy. Giving up a lot of, not using all of the budget. Can you not go Norris Verstappen? Or are you just short, budget-wise? I'm curious, Fraser. My Russell mini league team, wish me luck. That looks strong. That is funny. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. Yeah, I'd rather take the money then. Okay, yeah, makes sense. On a 38 million budget. Damn, you've lost that much budget on like just pure bad luck recently. You like, wait, are we the same budget now? There's no way. I think we're the same budget. I've caught up to Fraser, guys. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is correct, G. Tomasi. What Austin just said, you cannot use 2 chips in one race weekend. It's been the worst luck. Yeah, I feel like you've been extremely unlucky with that high budget of yours. Rusty Mid League team, I wish you the best of luck. That could really pop off. It's funny that it is the Russell Mini League and you're going all out on Mercedes. But yeah, I think yeah, the Verstappen Russell seems strong, especially if you have autopilot. Let's see. Team submissions. Where did it start? It's here, right? Yeah, this alright. Ramen Powder. Left, the safe option. 2 transfers. Alonso to Hadjar. Bortoletto to Bearman. Alright, solid moves. This is just pretty standard. Right, the massive differential. My god. Requires a -10. I would not do it for -10. This is insane. like this either goes incredibly well or incredibly poorly. But I don't think it's worth a -10, unfortunately. It's funny, though. Like, I'm not... My 2x drivers DNF 3 times this year. Yikes. Use autopilot or wait for final fix was the best decision. It's tough because you never know. Are those the only 2 things you have, Tomasi? Like, the only 2... the only 2 transfers you still have? Okay, I mean, obviously, Ramen you don't need me to tell you that, like, this is the better overall team. This is pretty fun, though. But with that budget, I'm thinking if you could do something else with the Antonelli pick. Could you do, like, a... I'm thinking... Because you kind of can afford, like, Russell Hamilton here. I mean, I see the vision why you are tempted by this. But I think, especially because it requires McLaren downgrade to Ferrari, I don't think it's worth it. And, like, Hamilton is only worth it if he, like, can pick up that elusive podium and driver of the day. But yeah, Tomasi, it entirely depends on if you have another chip remaining, because if you have 3 chips remaining, you need to use all of them. If Autopilot and Final Fix are the only 2 you still have, I would pop Autopilot in the sprints, and then use Final Fix in one of the 2 other weekends. Or if you're scared of DNFs now, I'd use the Autopilot now and use Final Fix later. So it depends on how scared you are of DNFs. That's also a great shout. What Ryan just said. Do you think Lando will be above 100% on this race? I mean, he has been for a couple of races now, if we consider the 2x, right? Where's the elite data? Yeah, he has been for the last couple. So I would assume yes. Back to team submissions. We have half an hour remaining, guys. Half an hour remaining. What are we at like-wise on YouTube? 78 likes. We're at almost 200 people in the chat. Make sure to like the stream. I know, ungodly hour, but thank you so much for being here at the time that you are here. We can definitely look. If I can get 100 likes today, it's lower than we usually get, but it is a very weird time to be streaming at 4:28 in the morning my time. So if we can get 100 likes, I'm definitely content with that. Thank you so much for the support. We'll move on with the team submissions. Black Lantern. Got a budget of 125.4 million, slightly lower, so you've been rocking the Antonelli lineup. Made 3 variations. I've also provided the original. Please tell me your thoughts looking back at FP3. Should we even go with McLaren? We've talked a bit about the McLaren Constructor. Basically, I don't think it's worth selling the McLaren Constructor. I do think it is worth taking the bet on going without the McLaren drivers. In particular, current team with Piastri in there is definitely unlucky. I can see that you've probably lost some points in that. I think Verstappen in is definitely a lineup to play for. Is there a way that you can do Verstappen plus Antonelli? There is. Okay, I definitely prefer the Verstappen Antonelli lineup versus the Verstappen like Behrman Stroll lineup. I know you're running much cheaper assets here in terms of your cheap assets or your midfield drivers, but I do think that's better. So I prefer variation 2. I think Verstappen Antonelli is a strong combo, and that's what I would consider. Variation Merc versus Red Bull. I would still go for this. I wouldn't sell McLaren Constructor, because the thing is, if you sell McLaren Constructor now, you will want to buy it back in Qatar. I'm almost certain of it. So I don't think it's worth for 1 week, unless you like have your wild card still remaining, and that's like your only chip that you haven't used. Should I keep Alonso if I need one to save a transfer? Alonso's definitely fine to keep. Just know that he's going to drop 0.4 million in price. But Alonso could definitely pop up with like a 10-pointer this week. I think Alonso's fine. 3 or 4 a.m. is usually when I'm watching your streams. Vegas is finally my time zone. Thank you so much, F1. F1 and Ella. That is very... I mean, I suffer with you because I'm suffering currently. I'm not one to complain being European, a European F1 fan, because I'm aware that my time is the best time to watch F1 normally. I have a Limitless chip left and a 3x chip too. If you have both Limitless and 3x definitely 100%. Like the only option with 3x is Qatar. So you have to use Limitless either today or final race of the season. I would go for the final race of the season because there's too many unknowns in this one, personally. Will it rain in quali? It will not rain on race, but it looks to be rainy at least in Q1. What's your final pick, Rain? I missed that. I'm gonna get to that in a second. We're still doing the team submissions, but I'm getting to my... I haven't made my transfers yet, but I'm making it in like 15 minutes time. We still haven't done tip of the week. Still haven't done tip of the week. Alright. Yeah, Black Lantern, I really like this team. At your budget, I do think Antonelli is almost like must-have. I don't think this is strong enough to outweigh the potential of an Antonelli pick. So I think Verstappen Antonelli is definitely where you should go for this week. Premi budget of 141.1 million is crazy. Use your 3x already. I don't know what to do with Team Dog, and also will go down. It's not good. He's only going to go down 0.4. You are so rich that you don't need to. Like, you already have Verstappen Norris. I don't know why you're worrying necessarily. With this team, you could literally do nothing to this team. Like, this team is just good enough, right? You could just chill with this and not make a transfer. Sideways moves you can make. Can you afford Alonso up to Hadjar? What's Hadjar's price? Again, I forget. 5.7 from 4.9. You need 0.8 million. Oh, you can just not afford that, right? That is unfortunate. You could do something like Sainz and Alonso out for like a Hadjar plus Lawson if you want to get rid of Alonso. But I don't think you need to get rid of Alonso. I think you could just like make one transfer, do like Sainz to like Ocon or whatever, like Gasly to Hadjar, listen to anything. You have Verstappen, Norris. You don't need anything else. You're fine. Houdini, just looking for something safe with how bad my luck has been recently. This looks pretty safe. I mean, Bortoleto probably goes out to someone else. Ocon is the price point with 3.1 million in the bank. I mean, safe. Behrman seems pretty safe. Colapinto is not one of my favorite picks, but like you could do Bortoleto and Colapinto out to like Ocon plus Hadjar, right? That seems pretty good. Yeah, most people says 2x on Verstappen or Norris over Russell. I think if you want to be differential, you could put 2x on Norris this week. On Russell this week. Number 1 team doing nothing. Number 2 team Lawson to Alonso, lose less budget. Move Max to Landa next week in Qatar for the 3x. Yeah, with Antonelli, I mean, you could stick Verstappen on the 3x as well in Qatar. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, okay, if you're considering to not lose budgets, Dom, like if you're considering not losing budgets, I would go Lawson to Colapinto. Because like Alonso's dropping in price, right? But you could also do Lawson to... no, you can't. Because you're out of the budget. Yeah, you already have Hadjar in there. And Gasly. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to not lose budget, I would go Lawson to Colapinto. Because I'd like Lawson over Alonso. Maybe Alonso is safer than in the rain. I mean, buying Alonso is fine. Like, I think but if you're buying Alonso for the budget, I think you're making a slight mistake. Or not a mistake necessarily, but you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Raining hard in Vegas at the moment. Yes, probably gonna get delayed. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to watch the qualifying if it gets delayed. I need to look at exactly when I need to get to work. I've got a wildcard best race to use it on. I mean, probably now. Or final race of the season if you want to take a super differential pick and go like Hamilton, Antonelli, shenanigans. Thanks for being up on all the advice. Not bad here in the States, especially in Vegas. Rock on. Thank you so much, Joe. Double has an option, definitely. I mean, not with the constructor, but Behrman plus Ocon is definitely a pick. Sorry, I was late. I need to work at 9. Celtic, I'm working at 7 a.m. Okay, like I'm working from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. today. So but welcome. All right, we have a couple more. Oh, we only have 2 more. I'll rush through these final 2. I'm gonna turn off the permissions for the channel, and we'll call it there. Permissions. Send message. Nope. Save changes. Alright. Here we go. So, final 2. Did we do this one? Oh, final 3. Sorry, final 3. Yeah, we did Dom. We haven't done Neutrum. Alright, we'll rattle off these 2. Then we'll do tip of the week. Then we'll do my transfers. And then we'll take final questions to the end. Does that sound good, everyone? So we'll do the final 3, actually make it through all of the team submissions for once, and then we will, yeah. Final 3 submissions, tip of the week, lock in my transfers, and then final questions from chat until the end of the stream. Make sure to like it over on YouTube. Are we at 100 likes yet? 94. We need 6 more people to like the stream over on YouTube. Please make sure to do so. I went up very early for this. I deserve the likes, okay? So... original team, Norris plus Russell. Really strong lineup overall. Looking to get Behrman in, of course. If I go for the same team, I might need 3 transfers to get rid of Verstappen, Antonelli, Behrman, since I won't be able to run Verstappen, Norris this season. If you're already conceding not being able to run Verstappen, Norris, I think you're fine, and you can rock literally whichever team you want. Trying to hedge your bet on Qatar 3x DRS. I think the Qatar 3x DRS team is probably including Russell, potentially like Norris plus Piastri if you want to run a double McLaren there. I do think Ryther Sims team is this. With Antonelli, I don't think that's the play. Because with Antonelli, it's going to be difficult. Like, you need to sell Antonelli for the 3x next week. I think the Ryther Sim team, gamble on Antonelli, Behrman. I don't think you'd gamble on Antonelli, Behrman. Budget 135. Might need 3 transfers to get rid of Verstappen, Antonelli, Behrman. I'm assuming you mean Russell. Verstappen, Russell, Behrman. Oh, but this is this. Don't really know what you meant here, but I might need 3 transfers to get rid of what. But the Sim team is the one I prefer the most for this week. But since you're conceding that you can't run Verstappen, Norris anyway, you're probably running like either Norris, Russell, or Verstappen, Russell anyway. Perhaps like Norris, Piastri, you can stretch to that. I don't even think you can, though, with this budget. Especially not with the transfers you've got. But I think Verstappen Russell is fine this week, and if you're already conceding that you can't get Verstappen Russell on the 3x next week, and you're running like Verstappen Russell or Norris Russell, I think I said wrong that. I think I said that wrong multiple times, but you understand what I meant. If you've already conceded you can't get Verstappen Norris on the 3x, I think this going for the Ryther Sim team seems really good for this week as well, because then next week you're just going Verstappen or Norris on the 3x, Russell on the 2x, and then one of these has to go down in order to afford that or whatever. So I think that's perfectly fine. Alright, moving on. Lecron, what about this team? Because I'm with 129.6 million budget, cannot afford more than this. Anyone that's lower than 130 million budget, I mean, Antonelli is the pick to go for. Only 3x remains. Yeah, 3x is like, it's gonna be Norris plus Antonelli for you, or maybe you can like maybe you can stretch it to like Piastri Russell, but I don't even think that's that good. I think I would prefer, if I had to pick like, okay, Piastri Russell on the 3x or like Norris Antonelli, I would go Norris Antonelli every time. This is a good team. For me, 2 transfers, if I have to afford that team, I need to take a -10. I would avoid -10s as much as possible. I don't know what you've done here to take the -10. If you've gone like one of the cheap assets around, I don't think it's worth it. But I mean, this team looks really strong for the value. Hey Rain, Gasly or Ocon? I would go for Ocon. Fianella, final team submission for this week. You jumped over to YouTube and then came back here. Welcome back, Farrell. Thank you so much for the like on YouTube. Greatly appreciated. Why are we trusting Antonelli in the rain? Antonelli's been pretty good in the rain so far this season. Don't see a reason to not do it. But like, we're trusting Antonelli if you have a lower budget. I've been anti Antonelli for like the entire time that he's been popping off for the second half of the season. First vote is current team, second vote is what I'm considering. It's basically the exact team that I have, but you have Gasly and I have Behrman. So it's just you have slightly lower budget than me. Still have 3x left. Hesitating on beater picks, but I only have 2 transfers, so just not sure what to build towards for Qatar, since I won't be able to afford Norris Verstappen. Basically, what I just discussed about Neutrim's team, if you've already conceded that you cannot afford Verstappen plus Norris on the 3x, you can build literally whatever. Like, you are free. You're free from the shackles of the Norris Verstappen prison, right? Because you're conceding that it's either going to be like Norris plus Piastri, or it's going to be like Verstappen Russell or Norris Russell. That's what you're conceding towards, or Verstappen Piastri. Like any combination of those drivers that's not the Norris Verstappen combo, which means that you're free to do whatever you want with your free transfers. You can go for Ocon, you can go for Hulkenberg. You're free from your shackles. You have infinite things you can do. For your team, if you only have 2 transfers, if you want to have 3 transfers for Qatar, I definitely get that. If so, you just keep Alonso. You don't need to buy Hadjar. You don't need to do what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I can actually get to the Norris Verstappen. I'm stuck in the Norris Verstappen prison. But you can just keep Alonso this week instead of Hadjar. Like, Hadjar could definitely crash in the rain, right? So keep Alonso around. Just do the Norris to Verstappen move. Save a transfer. Then you have 3 free transfers next week. And you know that you're going to either get to like a Norris Piastri, Verstappen Piastri, Norris Russell, or Verstappen Russell team on the 3X. You're fine. And then just move the free the cheap assets around to wherever you want to, right? So I don't see it as like, oh, not sure what to build towards. You already know what you're building towards. It's gonna be Norris Russell, it's gonna be Verstappen Russell, it's gonna be Norris Piastri, it's gonna be Verstappen Piastri. It's either one of those 4 combinations, and for the rest of the season, you're free. You're free to do whatever you want. Enjoy your freedom. You're not in this Norris Verstappen prison, the shackles of Norris Verstappen that I'm in. I mean, obviously, you would love to be able to afford Norris Piastri or Norris Verstappen, but if you can't, I mean, you're free to do whatever you want. All right, we're gonna do tip of the week, and then we're gonna do my transfers. Let me get the music up. What are your tip of the week predictions? Let me know in the chat right now as I find the correct track. Where is my paint? Tip of the week predictions, guys. Come on. Full focus, early morning, tip of the week. That's a beautiful W, by the way. Can I just say that? Tip of the week, tip of the week, tip of the week, tip of the week. Looking over at Twitch. No one's saying anything. Tragic. By the way, if you're on YouTube and if you have Twitch, just go and follow me on Twitch. Link in the description. Trying to build that up slightly. I might actually be... I might be live tomorrow watching the race on Twitch. So, definitely go follow me there if you're over on YouTube. If you're over on YouTube, make sure to like the stream. 115 likes, thank you so much for the turnout. I know it's not the best of times for the stream, especially for the European folk. But I appreciate your turnout and your support. That you're choosing to spend your early morning, you're choosing to give up some sleep in order to be with me. That is very much appreciated. Let me get the... We have a couple of tip of the week predictions. I can see one that is correct. I have one person has 100% predicted what it is. It is plan out your chips. What are you doing with your chips? It's 3 races left. Use them. Having chips left in the bag is not going to save you at the end of the season. You don't get extra points for not using them. Use them. What are you waiting for? And start actually considering what each of the chips actually mean. For Autopilot, it doesn't matter because Autopilot is a bad chip. But if you have Russell this week and you're wondering who to put the 2X on, use Autopilot this week. I think Autopilot is a great choice this week. I think Final Fix is a great choice this week. Final Fix could be a great choice next week. Do you have Limitless left? When are you using that? Probably not now because it's very hard to call who's going to be the best this week. Limitless, it's probably Abu Dhabi. 3X, it's definitely in Qatar if you still have it. Sigma Mercer drew what he thought was the ladies downstairs looked like. I know, even then, I knew he was wrong. That is not... Okay. That's very mean of you, Fraser. It's a beautiful W. Like a potato chips. Exactly, use your chips. I've got you, Rain. Thank you, CC. Welcome to the Twitch side. I also on YouTube, but then my app crashed. I didn't want to ask again in case you answered. But with a 120-point lead over second place in my private league, is it too early to play defensive and match second place? No. It's not too early. Go for it. 120 points, like, unless they have, like, Limitless remaining, and you don't. I mean, 120 points is definitely, like, you're winning territory. He was only 6. That's really funny. I'm not drawing boobs here, guys, or balls, or whatever else is below. Like, I'm just writing stuff. He came out as gay at 15. I should have known. Jesus Christ. All right. So, with that said, that's tip of the week. Use your chips. I know. I mean, it's a slight cop out, but like, you know, come on. What do you want me? I can't have super out there tip of the weeks every week. It is the tip of the week. It's not like tip 4 of the week. You know what I mean? True story, lol. Albon over Yuki. Ooh, I'm not really seeing anyone in that price category apart from Antonelli that's good. Albon's still owned by 28% of drivers. Do you need a free transfer to be able to use Final Fix? Nope. I'm using Limitless for the Russell League. I don't know what to do. When does the Russell League end? Is it today? Or is it in Abu Dhabi? I actually don't know this. I'm a bad content creator. If Russell League is ending today and you're trying to win it, use the Limitless today. But if Russell League ends in Abu Dhabi, like... okay, it's this GP. Okay, if it's this GP and you want to, like, try and win the Russell League, definitely go for that. But, you know, I'm just giving, like, overall tips for the end of the season. I think Limitless this week is really hard to call. But it's probably, like, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, and then some other picks, right? Bro, didn't answer my question. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Albon over Yuki? I answered your question. I said none of them. What do you want from me? Alright. So, what am I doing? I have 12 minutes to make my decision, and 11 minutes to make my decision. I have decided that I'm getting Verstappen in over Norris. And I'm getting Alonso out because I need to, in order to afford Norris Verstappen next week. And I'm getting Hadjar in. That's my move. Putting 2x on Max Verstappen. These two will be my transfer this week. I save a transfer. Next week I'm looking at Verstappen plus Norris. Boom. Let's do this. I mean, this team looks fine. I don't need to do anything with this. I'll you know, play a bit differential here. Can I go? I mean, this, well, it's fine, whatever. Alright. I need to just make my transfers on the secret team. So let me do that real quick. And then after that, I'll take final questions from chat. Albon in this. I mean, yes, I prefer Albon over Yuki Tsunoda, but I prefer, like, Ocon and Behrman to both of them. Let me find the secret team real quick. Yeah, I have a secret team, guys. I have a secret team. Basically, for those of you who don't know what the secret team is, because I realize I haven't, like, talked about it in every single weekend. I started a second account on the second week, like, not in Australia. So this second team has missed a full weekend because basically I had such a bad first weekend of the year, like a horrid team selection in Australia, that I wanted to see if I could beat myself with a different team starting a week late. And I was ahead at some point, but my main team has gone past. But I still want to finish out the season with this team and see how high I could actually get it. So this secret team that I started in, that didn't even play in Australia, is ranked 5,500 global, which is pretty good. It's better than I did last year with my main team. But I'll spread let's see. Yeah, I'll spread the strategies here slightly. I'll do it's definitely slightly richer. Let me see here. I'll rock Norris on the other team just in case. And I'll do something like this. All right. Alright, so secret team done. And my camera has completely unfocused. Lovely. Alright, we have 8 minutes left. I'll take final questions from chat now. Let me get both Twitch and YouTube chat back up again. Thank you for the stream. Thank you so much, Rye. Hope you have a nice and chill day. I won't, but I hope you have one. Alright. Now it's just sing along with Rain Time. That is exactly what it is. Should we do like some Wicked? I did watch Wicked yesterday. Are 3 transfers necessary for Qatar? No. It is for me because I need to like change 3 drivers. But for me it's necessary. For you it's not. It completely depends on what your plan is for Qatar. Again, plan your chips. Red Bull in. I could add that and Antonelli and Verstappen with Red Bull and Mercedes. Big differential. I wouldn't dare to do it, but you can definitely go ahead. Wildcard team with 132.8 million budget. You go to F1 Fantasy Tools. You go to Team Calculator. You input the budget that you had. 132.8. And you check what this is. Okay, this is... Oh, wait, this is without Antonelli. Let's double check. This is what it prefers. And then you check this and you go, is this what I want? Is there anything else I want to do instead? And then you start from this, right? This is your starting point when you wildcard. And then you change it based on what you prefer as a player, right? But I would always, when you're wildcarding, I would look at this and I would like alter it from there. Also, obviously, with chips in mind, right? Consider what you actually want to do. It's a new segment I somehow missed. Yeah. I mean, it's sure. It's raining heavily. I really hope they still go ahead with the qualifying, because if they don't, I might have to like leave before qualifying finishes because I have to go to work. Who do you think gets more points this week, Norris or Verstappen? It's very difficult to call. I think Verstappen can get driver of the day. Norris cannot. I think unless like if Norris goes from like P17 to like P3, he might get driver of the day. But I don't think Norris is doing that. I think Norris is probably just gonna win. But the rain, it's a bad track for McLaren too. I'm betting on Verstappen, which is why I'm buying Verstappen, but it's very close. Would it make sense to pick Stroll instead of Alonso? Yeah, of course. I think it makes a lot of sense. Is it Friday your time? No, it's Saturday my time. It's 4:55 a.m. Singing in the rain? I could do that. I'll do Singing in the Rain. Twitch exclusive. That is a great name for the segment, though. We might do that like in the off season when we're going mad without no F1. We might host like, instead of the deadline stream, we'll just host a Sing in the Rain, and I'll just do karaoke every weekend. Why not? Your top 800 in the Russell League, you've Limitless and 3x left. Well, you can only use one this week, and I would definitely choose the Limitless. So do Limitless this week, and then 3x. You have 5 minutes. Good luck. I had to go quadruple check all my stuff saved. I did, but thought of a moment and didn't forget. Yeah, I should also actually check that, because it's actually just 5 minutes until it's go time. 4 minutes. I think everything's saved. Yeah, this is my team. I'm gonna post this on Twitter, actually. I forgot to do that. Ba-doom. Karaoke winter testing sounds good. I'm glad we all agree. Good luck this week, mate. Good luck to you too, Luke. Go check out Luke, by the way. Good content. Let me post this on Twitter real quick. Boom. Team lock. Norris plus Alonso to Norris plus Alonso to Verstappen plus Hadjar. Las Vegas GP. Boom. Post. Alright. If you wanna aid me in something else without paying any money, 5 gifted subs if I get any prize in Russell Mini League, boss. I'll take it. Go interact if you have the Twitter website. Qualifying watch along? Yeah, I'll watch quali, but if quali gets delayed, I will not be able to finish it because I have to get to work in like an hour. So we'll do the watch along over on Twitch as always. So if you're on YouTube and you want to watch the quali with me or want to watch me watch the quali when everyone crash, definitely join over on Twitch. As always, I end the stream on YouTube and continue it on Twitch because that's just what the algorithm prefers. Last question, I promise. You can ask as many questions as you want, but you have 2 minutes. Ocon over Hadjar Sainz. Yes. I really wish I could have Ocon this week, but I don't want to use a transfer to do Sainz to Ocon. I think Ocon is a great pick this week. Max or George for the 2x? I'm going Max. I don't dare to do the George. But if you want to play differential, I think George on the 2x is a definite shout this week. I think Russell could definitely pop up with a win here. Good luck, everyone. Good luck, everyone. We have 2 minutes to the deadline. Let me get the bloody live stream up so I can actually watch the thing. Enjoy the race week and have a good day at work, my man. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'll try my best to have a good day at work. I'll live. I'll survive. I'll survive. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, make sure to pop over on Twitch. Link in the description. That's where we're doing the watch along. I will be watching the qualifying, but I have to go to work in like an hour, so I might not be able to finish it if there are delays. So just know that. But there are other content creators you can watch. So start with me and then pop over. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for the support. If you haven't liked the stream, make sure to do so. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright. Peacing out on YouTube now. Stay on Twitch. Twitch, I'm not going anywhere. YouTube, I'm calling it now. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week for normal time. Alright. Ending on YouTube now. Ba-doo.